And our first main topic today gets submitted to us by Rogue One, who writes, big fan and watch daily from Australia. Thank you so much, Rogue One. And couldn't help but notice Chris Hemsworth's announcement of Mad Max Fury Road prequel, Furiosa, starring himself, to be released in 2023 all over the local news here. This is the biggest production ever in Australia. Are you a fan of the franchise? And what do you think about this announcement? All right, thanks a lot for sending that in. And Rob, it's been almost as long, if not maybe a little longer, that we've been waiting for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to actually be Black Adam, that we have been waiting for some concrete news about this Mad Max prequel, Furiosa. They have been talking about this for a long time. And there have been certain times when it looks like a little bit of movement was done and then nothing. And then a little bit of movement and then 6 more months of nothing. It feels like forever ago that we heard that Queen's Gambit star Anya Taylor-Joy was going to be playing the younger version of Furiosa. And we were all very excited about that, but that seems like that was a while ago now. Well, now big announcements have been made. We got Chris Hemsworth's in it. They're shooting in Australia, largest production ever in Australia. This comes to us from Deadline, who writes, the wheels have been greased on the hotly anticipated Mad Max spinoff Furiosa, which is set to star Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth. A press conference with director George Miller and Hemsworth in attendance took place in Australian state New South Wales today to confirm that the spinoff is preparing to shoot in the territory next year. Miller commented during the presser that the long gestating project was finally hitting floors because of stability at Warner Brothers. Since we started Fury Road, I think there's been 6 different regimes at Warner Brothers, he said. Now it's stabilized very much, and they're able to basically pay attention coherently to the films they want to make, and this is one of them. And of course, those are the words of George Miller. And Rob, this has got to be very exciting to anybody who's a fan of this franchise. Now, this is, of course, a new iteration of the franchise. This is separate from the Mel Gibson thing. Obviously, they kind of restarted with Tom Hardy with Mad Max Fury Road. A lot of people love that movie, have been very excited about it. Some people were a little bit put off hearing that it wouldn't be Charlize Theron coming back, but if the story George Miller wants to tell is of a young Furiosa, then he's got to go with a different actress at this point, so I'm fine with that. The addition of Chris Hemsworth, I think, is great, because you know me, I'm a big fan of Chris Hemsworth. Obviously everybody loves him as Thor, but I really enjoyed him in Rush that he did with Daniel Bruhl.
Oh yeah,
that Ron Howard movie. He was fantastic in that. So this is all good. Also, the budget is apparently massive. Now, they didn't say an actual number of what the budget of the movie is going to be, but they did say they're anticipating by shooting this in Australia, it's going to be bringing in $350 million in revenue into the country. That doesn't mean that the movie's budget, Rob, is $350 million. Of course not. But they are saying this is going to be a significantly larger budget than Mad Max Fury Road was. So, Rob, couple questions for you. Number one, what do you think about the pairing of Chris Hemsworth and Anya Taylor-Joy in this? Number two, that they're finally getting going on it. And number three, what do you think overall about how do you feel now about the philosophy about them going with a younger Furiosa instead of continuing the story of Furiosa with Charlize Theron? There's a lot to cover there, but what are your feelings in all of this?
Well, first of all, I'm a huge George Miller fan who directed this franchise. I think he's one of the most unsung directors working today. I thought Fury Road was pretty much a masterpiece. When I saw The Road Warrior in the summer of '82, or AKA Mad Max 2, as it's known in the rest of the world, I was blown away. I had seen Mad Max in the theater. Seeing Road Warrior, I to this day, Road Warrior still stands up as one of the great pieces of action cinema ever made. And yet, it's kind of, in a way, sort of forgotten. I mean, he co-directed Beyond Thunderdome. I like movies he did, like Lorenzo's Oil, which no one ever talks about. Great film. I think he's he produced Happy Feet and directed the sequel. Babe, Pig in the City, he directed the sequel, but he produced the first one. I mean, I'm a huge fan of George Miller. So the fact that he's doing a Furiosa sequel, and if you've looked, I have a lot of, they came out with a pre-production book of all the artwork from Fury Road. I mean, I think this could only be awesome. And, George Miller's like 75. And the fact that he's going to make this movie, I am hella excited about. And to have Chris Hemsworth and to have Anya Taylor-Joy, I mean, and God only knows who he's going to get to put in the cast of this film. It's going to be what his characters are indelible, and they will be John, Shiny, and Chrome. And I can't wait to see this movie. It's one of my most eagerly awaited films of the next couple of years. Bring it on. And why not tell a Furiosa sequel or prequel? Why not? And Anya Taylor-Joy is one of our great young actresses whose career is on the upswing. I think this could only be great. And if they do the kind of practical effects work they did in Fury Road, like, oh my God, what are we in for? All I know is it's going to be awesome.
You know, I think I see some people in the live chat, and I've heard a lot of people ever since the Anya Taylor-Joy announcement, the fact that they wanted to Furiosa, saying, why not just do another Mad Max movie? Well, it is still kind of a Mad Max movie, even if the character isn't there. But the other thing you got to remember is this is George Miller. And he's been doing Mad Max
since the 70s, John.
Longer than I've been alive. He's been doing Mad Max a very, very long time. And if George Miller is like, I've got an interesting idea about another character that we've already introduced that's in this same world that I think I can tell an interesting story as that character being our main protagonist, then who are we to doubt George Miller on that? I mean, if that's the way he wants to go, then go with it. The Furiosa character was a fascinating character that they gave us in that last movie. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go. The question is for you guys. What do you think about this whole news? Chris Hemsworth, Anya Taylor-Joy, they're going to start rolling next year in theaters in 2023. They've been talking about Furiosa for a long time. It's now actually in motion. How do you guys feel about it? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys.